How you doing? Will Catlett, and I play Charlie on First.
Hi, I'm Jahmela Yarbrough, and I play Robin, and I'm also the writer, co-director of First.
You want to go first or you want me to go first?
I
think you
ready.
go first. No, I think you're ready.
ready.
I think you're ready. You share your first. Say your first, how you met Brandon, how you met your first, how you met your husband. The floor is yours.
Okay. Brandon and I met on set. We were doing what we love. I was acting in a movie and he was assistant directing. And we were both in two different spaces, two different worlds, not looking at each other at all. Or checking for each other. And so we came, did our jobs, went about our way. And
keep talking, I'm gonna make sure the angle right. Go ahead, keep talking. Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to like a year or so later, and I was looking for an AD for a project that I was producing. And all my go-to ADs were booked. And I thought of Brandon, but I didn't know him. So I needed someone to vouch for him. So I reached out to a producer friend who is a mutual friend of ours. And he just was like, yo, this guy is amazing.
Right.
Book him. And so we met, booked him for the job. We worked together for a month, still just on set, working together. And it wasn't until after that I think the veil came off, where it was his birthday.
Okay.
And he wasn't gonna celebrate it, but something told me to invite him to church. So I was like, okay, God, okay, I'll invite him. And he came and never left. So he came the night before his birthday to church. And then we hung out the next day for his birthday. And then that was a wrap.
So what about this veil? What do you mean by the veil came off?
We both were so focused on working. I know I was. And I also I was in a space at that time of, it's just me and you, Lord. I was so absorbed, so I wasn't looking for anything or anyone. But open to it. And actually still believing for it, but not trying to necessarily go after anything. I think we both saw each other just in the workspace, like as working together. And then we started hanging out. First hangout was church.
Yeah.
And then literally from there, talking together every day. Yes. So tell me about you and your beautiful wife.
Well, I was thinking about when you said the veil, it took me to Robin and Charlie's relationship. I mean, the whole thing is about a veil being covered and not seeing the person that's right next to you.
Right there, yeah.
And then it being removed and you're like, oh, this is the person. I think a lot of people miss the person because it doesn't look like how they have it in their mind until the veil is lifted.
That's so good.
And, well, to how I met my wife was similar, I mean, look, if you're looking for somebody, you better go to church, right? I was actually seeing a young woman at the time, and I came across Hannah, and I looked at her, and immediately I knew that I was supposed to marry this woman.
Yes. How did you know?
It's a knowing, and I've been asking this question since I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
Even when I was waiting tables, I would always ask couples that would come in, well, how long y'all been married? They say, well, 40 years. What made you say yes? They tell me the story. How did you know?
Right.
Well, this person, he's more organized, I'm not, And so I would hear all these different stories. And what was the common thread was they knew. And so when I looked at her, I was like, that's my wife. But I walked away for a year because the previous girl I was dating, I thought that was my wife too. Yeah. And so I said, well, maybe I'm not seeing right. Maybe my veil is messed up,
Yeah.
Fast forward, I'm dating another young lady. I'm thinking about, okay, tonight, this girl is cool, she's funny. I'm gonna make her my girlfriend. But then I see Hannah again right before I go get a haircut. And I said, well, do you wanna go to dinner? She said, yeah. I said, well, let me follow this feeling. Yeah. Let me go to dinner with you. If it's nothing, boom, I'm gonna go make Shorty my girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? We sat and we talked after dinner for like 4 to 6 hours in the car. And I grab her hand and I say, what took you so long? Yeah. I always wanted to ask my wife, what took you so long? Yeah. She said, I don't know, but I'm here now.
Deep.
And then we started praying. I felt like we got married in the car.
Chills. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
I love how God was a part of both of our stories.
Yeah. You need that.
Absolutely.
He's the master storyteller, so you always,
Absolutely.
you definitely need that in the relationship. And we've been rocking ever since, But doesn't mean you don't have challenges in being married. I think when people fall in love, you get past the stage of the butterfly stage, and it's work. But the more you work at it, the more you become one.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's for somebody.
Now tell me this, how did you, I feel like we've all experienced heartache or had, relationships or things that hurt us.
Yeah.
How did you continue believing that there was more for you after those heartbreaks?
Well, I think for me, the cheat code was my parents have been married for over 40 years.
Yeah.
And I've watched both of them stay through good and bad. So I knew it existed.
Yeah.
And inside of myself, I always felt like I would be married. I've been wanting to be married since I was, like I said, 15 years old. And even when I would go through tough times in relationships, some longer than others, some 3 years, some 7 years, and you'll get heartbroken, but I never let my heart close.
Yeah.
It will close towards a relationship. Yeah, you'll cry. Yeah, you can't eat your spaghetti that you want to eat, you know what I mean? Because you're thinking about the person. But I always knew on the other side of that heartbreak, there was somebody for me. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people in the world. There's somebody for me. Yeah. And you gotta have that hope. And a lot of times relationships, when they go sour, they steal that hope. And you don't want your hope to be deferred, because you need to have that hope to say, you know what, this didn't work out. I learned something.
Absolutely.
And let me apply that to the next relationship.
Absolutely. That's good. It's interesting because my experience was kind of the opposite. My parents divorced after being together for like 26 years, long time. And they were kind of like what you would consider like, you would think the perfect couple. So it really blindsided me. So I didn't have that image to look to, I almost had it started becoming like a jaded view, I also wasn't someone who I had never talked about marriage, even before then, as far as like, I was so career focused. And it's interesting because it wasn't until I feel like God put everything on pause for me so that he and I could develop an intimate relationship. And he started just showing me more of himself. Then honestly, he put the desire for someone to walk alongside with a purpose partner, literally, like someone because I saw my husband before I met him, and I began to desire that inside once God began to heal those wounds, And it's interesting, but that was kind of my journey to getting there and believing there was more, was God showing me like, I have somebody for you, specifically for you.
Yeah, that's good.
To walk out these things. You don't have to do this all yourself, And it's interesting, around that time, he had me write down specifically what I wanted. I wasn't one of those who did that.
You one of the ones that made a list.
I made a list, but then it was a point where he told me to write a list, and I was like, okay. And it's my husband to the T.
Wow.
Literally.
Wow.
Brandon saw the list and was like, dang.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
that's me too. Yeah.
But I think that's cool because God also gives us that desire. Because he does have someone there for us, Hopefully that gives someone hope,
I think it gives a lot of people hope, especially because, you were speaking about your parents getting divorced after being married for a length of time. Both of my parents were married before.
Yeah.
And I always looked at the perspective, if they had not had a divorce, then I wouldn't be sitting here right now, because those two had to meet. So sometimes in life, I think as kids, you get upset because you don't know the whole story.
Absolutely. 100%.
And maybe that divorce was gonna lead to another half of your parents' story. And as you get older, you start to realize, our parents are our parents, but they also just like us in a way too. And they're trying to figure it out.
100%.
Yeah, so, I remember telling my dad when I was 14, when they were going through a rough time, Pop, you ain't gotta be here.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I'm processing this at 14 years old.
Right.
Like, Pop, like go be happy.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you know, you need an adult wisdom, because this is a kid still talking. My dad is on the other side, yeah, but you won't have that male presence in the home.
Yeah.
And you need that. So let me sacrifice how I feel until you become of age. And then I can decide what I want to do.
Yes.
You know, so I think as children, you have to give your parents a lot of liberty.
A lot of grace.
Yeah, a lot of grace.
I learned that for sure. It wasn't until my parents divorced and so much happening with our family that I actually developed relationships, especially with my dad. Very close relationship where we could talk transparently and he could be the most vulnerable, you know? And it's one of the things I cherish the most, you know? And it wasn't until some of those other things happened that we could get to a place of really, truly having a real, genuine, honest relationship.
It makes me think too, you know, a lot of parents suffer and stay because of that. They want to be there for the kid. Yeah. But the kid is still suffering because the relationship has already ended.
Absolutely.
And you can't love the contract more than you love the person.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think all this ties into why you sat down and wrote such an incredible project, because we need to have this discussion.
Yes.
First is a continuation of the discussion of love, of loss, of change, of, you know, hope, of faith. It's all of that.
Absolutely. It was important to me to examine, you know, relationships that I've had, dynamics between family members and others that I have never seen portrayed with people that look like us, you know? And I thought that, no, like when certain things happen to us, we're just as broken and wounded.
Yeah, of course.
Just as. And we have to figure out how to navigate. We're not some just monolith and even someone who doesn't feel, you know, we are resilient, but we have to learn how to deal with that pain, you know, and how to process all the stuff, you know, in order to have the healthy relationships we desire. And so it was just important in making this that we examine those different relationships and hopefully help others look at themselves and assess themselves as well.
And that's art, right?
That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's art, you know? Art should have a reflection.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Hey, Will Catlett here. You can follow me on all social media platforms whenever I'm there. I appreciate your support, and I'm gonna throw it to my girl, you know?
Jahmela Yarbrough. Follow me on Jahmela B. Yarbrough on all social media platforms, and follow First at First Series TV on all social platforms. Stay connected and get ready, because there's more coming.
The most important day is the day that you were born. The second most important day is the day that you found out why.
What's your name?
Robin.
I'm Charlie.
I can't be your girlfriend.
Why not?
My dad told me about boys like you.
What does that mean?
It means we'll be friends and that's it, all right?
I'm not like these hoochies you play games with.
Give me an ultimatum, homies or nothing.
That was 7 years ago, Charlie.
Yeah, well, you can't be kissing me like you did at the party.
I believe in the feeling.
You'll come next year, right?
Something I can't explain, 'cause it's just we've come.
Wow, it's been forever.
I know it has.
How long is she here?
I don't know, man. I don't think she's going back.
This is not a date.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. I just threw some on.
So many ups and downs, like we barely even touch the ground.
You sweating her, man.
Come on, man. Ain't nobody sweating her.
I didn't expect all that. It was too good to be true. Did you take all these?
Stills from my videos. Just normal people being heroes.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I can see you up there.
Whenever times get
What am I supposed to do, man? I'm supposed to lock her down. You know we got 15-year-long friendship, right? I ain't trying to lose that, bro.
Robbie, you are my lifesaver. Why is your ex staying in there?
Why can't you just tell me it bothered you?
Because I shouldn't have to. Maybe we should just chill off each other for a while. What are you so afraid of? I don't want to fail, Bob. I don't know if I'm enough.
oh, I'll be standing right there.